First I had my doubts. I thought I would just look, see if it's a real Islamic State or not. But when they announced the Khilafah, it was more that I paid attention to it. At that time, yes, I was happy. I thought this is real Khilafah. I believe that for every Muslim it was an obligation to live in a state where they can practice their Islam the most. There was a big hype about ISIS. They took over half of Iraq in 3 days or 4 days. At this moment we were like, yeah, this is maybe the state that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, announced would come. There was this strong media that said ISIS, like from people inside and people who have seen ISIS, that said no, it's a real caliphate, that made me make this decision to go. They helped us inside. From there we had to give everything, our passports, our phones, our tablet, and then they took us to Raqqa. When we went to Raqqa, that was like really the big shock for us. Basically, it was a prison for women. They couldn't get out, and the stories, it was really bad. There were women who thought about suicide. I felt regret directly. In Iraq, he did not have a job. Mosul, in the beginning, it was okay for me. There were no bombings. What really got my attention is that there was a lot of injustice. Men, they are forced to fight. So we tried to get out of Mosul and we couldn't. So many women stayed behind in Mosul. It made me so angry because they asked the people to come because they have an Islamic State. When the battle came, they fled. You could see Syria full of Iraqis, while women and children were still left behind in Mosul. We tried to get out from before, and then they said, you cannot, to my husband. Only, of course, if you have high position and you have contacts, you could go to Syria and come back. In the desert, they stopped us and they wanted us to go back. He said today a command came from the governor that nobody gets out of Mosul. My husband said, myself, I would just put my family in Syria where it's safe. He also knew that what was coming in Mosul was so bad. He saw that we have children and the other women with us also had children. So he just turned around his face and he said, Yalla tawakkul, just go. And we went. You cannot go to the doctor or anything because officially you're not Islamic State. My husband did a little bit of time in prison. I disappeared and I run everywhere. I call everyone, but nobody knows where he is. Because he's like Madani, he must be Islamic State for them. And they let him out. He doesn't talk much about it. We just lived their normal life. I said, I don't know where my husband is. I lied. We grow up with the impression that everything that the West says about Muslims is a lie. I cannot blame anybody, I can only blame myself for believing this. The Islamic States are not only not good Muslims, they are not Muslims. And then you look back, it was really stupid. How could I have believed this and how could I have fell for this propaganda? The longer you stay, the more you know about how life is there and how these people are. Don't serve them, don't join them, be critical, use your mind. I just want to go home and have my life back, my children most of all. I really believe if you choose the act, you choose the consequences, so I'm willing to face these consequences.